Allen, I'll start with you and follow up on your testimony that related to your efforts to have accurate and contemporary voter rolls. Under your leadership, the Alabama Voter Integrity Database System entered into a memorandum of understanding with my home state of Florida through 2027. Can you share with us what that is and why it is so crucial to have states communicate with each other about voter rolls?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. It is vitally important that states talk to each other, and we have been so very, very proud of these memorandums of understanding, not only with the state of Florida, but with Georgia and Tennessee and Mississippi and Louisiana, Arkansas, Kentucky, and most recently Texas. Those are vitally important to have a bilateral agreement to where we can get our IT departments to talk to each other to make sure that we do not have anyone that is double registered in both states. And we are very, very proud of this effort. We have exchanged data with a number of states so far, and we found over 40,000 individuals that were double registered in other states as well as Alabama.
And tell us what sort of adjudication process occurs when you do identify somebody who appears to be registered in more than one location.
So we get that information and we send out to the counties, to the different boards of registrars where that person was last registered in Alabama, and they send out correspondence to this person to let them know that there may be some question about their voter registration, and if they indeed have moved to another state, to call them back or to correspond with them and to remove themselves from the Alabama voter file. If they do not correspond with us, there's a time period for the, in conjunction with the NVRA, that places them on a pathway to removal. So we don't remove them instantly, we put them on a pathway in case they do not call the state of Alabama to remove themselves.
As Secretary Landry, Louisiana recently enacted safeguards for mail-in ballot returns via third-party collection. Can you share with us how these safeguards reduce fraud in third-party ballot collections?
Sure, certainly. We passed some legislation last year that closed loopholes regarding ballot harvesting, and in addition to prohibiting individuals from picking up multiple ballots, we also now prohibit delivery by any method where one individual is delivering multiple ballots. So if you're not a family member, you can only deliver one ballot, whether it's to the Registrar of Voters office or to a post office box.
Have these additional safeguards reduced voting via absentee ballot?
They have not.
And in your opinion, did these measures unduly burden absentee voters in Louisiana?
They do not. In fact, we had a lawsuit regarding one of our new laws, and the plaintiffs, after the most recent election, moved to dismiss the lawsuit, and in the motion they mentioned that they were unable to find a single plaintiff who was impacted by the legislation in spite of their thinking that they would. They couldn't find anyone. So we think they're just common sense measures, and they protect our most vulnerable voters.
Secretary LaRose, Ohio, much like my home state, implemented pre-processing for mail-in ballots, which you mentioned in your testimony. We attribute rapid processing of absentee ballots as a crucial part of calling election results in a timely manner. Will you explain to us how early processing of ballots increases confidence in elections in Ohio?
Yeah, thank you, Chairwoman. As soon as an absentee ballot arrives back at a county board of elections, it can be opened by a bipartisan team, a Democrat and Republican sitting there, slicing it open, checking the name, date of birth, last four of the social, state driver's license, and verifying the signature against the signature on file in the database. At that point, they can flatten it out. And let's not trivialize that. They have to be flattened out to go through the machine. Sometimes that takes some time to do. They flatten those ballots out, and they're ready to scan so that on election night, at 7:30 p.m. precisely, the very first ballots counted are those early votes and absentee votes, because they're all processed and ready to go.
And tell us, if you would, around what time was Ohio able to call the race for the presidency on election night?
It was in the 10 p.m. hour, and we were at 90% reported by 11 p.m. However, that last 10% took us until about 3 a.m. because we had a few counties that needed some help. But before everybody went home for the night, we had every vote counted, every election day vote counted and reported.
Thank you, Secretary LaRose. I now recognize Ranking Member Sewell.